everyone, I'm Paula Gilbert, the editor of Connecting Africa, and I'm here at MWC Kigali in Rwanda. And with me is Lohini Moodley, who is a telecoms expert and a partner at Oliver Wyman. Hi Lohini, great to have you with me.
Hi Paula, lovely to be here.
So today we're talking a bit about 5G and kind of, the next phase of growth. So maybe you can set the scene for us a little bit. Where are we when it comes to 5G in Africa in 2025? And kind of what impact do you see going forward maybe the next 5 years?
Yeah. So I think 5G has always been seen as a technology upgrade. I'd say the rollout is very, very nascent in Africa at this point in time. It's really been used mainly in sort of affluent areas, providing consumers with higher speeds, lower latencies. The step is really, how can we use 5G to bridge the digital divide rather than creating a bigger digital divide. And so I think that's where we're talking more about having FWA, fixed wireless access, thinking around, community Wi-Fi, etc. So I think that's where the growth is going to come when you start to bring new people online or start to get people online for longer than they typically were as mobile customers. And I think, it's everywhere from agriculture to education, health, that we will see the benefits.
Okay, great. Joe, you spoke a little bit about sort of inclusivity. What are maybe some of the innovative business models or partnerships that are needed to kind of bring 5G to more rural areas or make it more accessible, maybe a bit more on fixed wireless access and, where you see that going?
Yeah. So I think partnerships, I think, the economics don't hold for anyone to double invest in rural areas. So I think infrastructure sharing is going to be important. I think that governments need to also think about what part they have to play in terms of providing subsidies, potentially using, spectrum fees to subsidize rollout into rural areas. And then I think there should be also partnerships with content providers, potentially even aid agencies, and also, mixing it up a bit and thinking about how, for example, LEO technologies could be used for backhaul.
Okay, very interesting. Obviously, we're hearing 5G all the time being touted as, it's going to have a major impact on various industries. But how do you kind of see, from the telecoms operators' point of view, how they can shift their business strategies to take up that opportunity, to kind of get more into the enterprise sector?
Yeah, so I think, it's at the end of the day, it's about use cases, right? So if it's just providing connectivity, there's no real upside. You don't pay more because you're on a 5G network versus a 4G network. So I think there are lots of applications for enterprises, machine to machine, Internet of Things, tracking, for example, vehicles that are part of a logistics fleet, using it for maintenance and plants, private networks for businesses, especially with remote locations, allowing, faster speeds, lower latency, most importantly. So I think that's where it's going to. I think it's finding the use cases that we're not monetizing today, and how we can take them forward. Yeah.
And then we're also hearing a lot, about sustainable connectivity and sustainability in general. So how can telecoms operators kind of balance their network expansion with energy efficiency when we know, Africa has very big constraints when it comes to kind of power and infrastructure?
Yeah. So three things. I think one, we talked about sharing. I think infrastructure sharing is important. Secondly, renewable power sources. I know lots of operators are experimenting with that. And then I think thirdly, using AI in terms of network planning, network monitoring, management, and maintenance will help to make it more efficient.
Okay, great. And then what are kind of some critical lessons that we can take from 5G rollouts, maybe in other continents, in terms of how Africa can, simulate that? I know we've already had some 5G rollouts already, but kind of those that are still to come.
Yeah. So I think 5G rollouts, in the rest of the world, they've really just been the replacement of 4G. And, that's why globally the telecom sector is not in the best shape when it comes to return on investment and free cash flows. I think we have a unique opportunity here, which is how do we use 5G to provide connectivity to people who did not have connectivity. And here we're talking fixed wireless access mainly, right? And that's kind of a use case that the developed world didn't really have, that I think will be interesting for us.
Okay, great. And then just being here in Rwanda, what are kind of the sentiments you've felt when it comes to 5G, the conversations you've had with people? I know you were on a panel earlier today.
So I think there's a lot of excitement. I think there's a lot of promise. I think people are thinking about it, in terms of what's the innovation going to be, what's the angle. So I think it's moving, the conversation is going in the right direction.
Okay, excellent. Thanks. I think we're going to have to leave it there, but thanks so much to Lohini Moodley, who is a telecoms expert and a partner at Oliver Wyman.